Hello friend, so today we actually have a lot lined up for you, beginning from the shooting, ICE shooting probe in the US, and then we have backpack cops discovery, and also we have what we call Olympic fugitive caught. We have what we call academic fraud arrest. So we have so much lined up for you, and my humble request is stay with us till the end. Remember this bizarre stories, we normally run it like for an hour plus, though at times we normally run it like less than an hour, but the time that we've allocated ourselves, yeah. Remember, this is not whereby maybe somebody is in charge telling me that you are past time or you have a few minutes to do this and this, yeah. So this is our time, we are in charge, yeah. So also when you come across this, kindly remember to subscribe so that we can continue increasing, yeah. We are almost hitting 500 subscribers. So remember, our target is 1,000 subscribers. So once we hit 500, our next target will be 1,000 or 1,000 plus, right? So my name is Ino, or you can call continue. And once we take off, we take off, yeah. So without wasting any time, I hope you are doing great. So welcome back. Really, the intruder's primary goal wasn't theft, but breakout or breakfast. One man reportedly broke into a home specifically to help himself in a bowl of cereal. You see, at times we normally, you and I know that at times, yeah, hunger can make you do the unthinkable, yeah. Like, you see this man in Somerville, this guy, maybe he was very hungry, like he needed food, and when he needed food, he actually had nowhere to get his food from. So what he thought, or what came into his mind, was, I'll break into somebody's house, maybe he knows the owner, I'll break into somebody's house and then I'll steal. Here had what we call craving, yeah. This word is normally used by women mostly, but it might be that this guy, he had craving for cereals. So he broke into somebody's house and then he took cereals for breakfast, like he had craving. I'm not like trying to support this guy here, but this is a crime. He did a crime and he is supposed to be answerable for this crime. Like, you cannot go into somebody's house without his or her consent and then help yourself by eating his food or her food. So that is very legal. And this reminds me, there is another bizarre story we covered whereby there was a serial burglar who used to break. These incidences were actually reported like several times. People used to break into other people's house and then they cook eggs, yeah. This happened, I believe it was also in the US, whereby somebody breaks into your house not to steal, or maybe not to harm you or do anything else other than cooking eggs. It happened in several homes, yeah. So this one here is another guy, another person, another burglar who's breaking into, or who broke into somebody's house and then helped himself with the breakfast, yeah, cereals. Like his main goal was to eat cereals. I've been asking myself is, immediately I wrote this story, what I've been asking myself is, how did this guy know that if I break into this house, I'll find cereals? You see, or maybe, we here, okay, let me put myself as an example here. In the village, we do markets. What we have are small kiosks. Maybe for those who normally watch my videos, you can realize that I've also cereals. You cannot find them here, but maybe on the other side in the US, maybe every homestead, very sure that what I'll find there is cereals, and maybe I'm craving for cereals, so I'll break in, prepare the cereals. A morning of a bizarre string of break-ins where the intruder's primary goal wasn't theft but breakfast. One man reportedly broke into a home specifically to help himself to a bowl of cereal. So that was our first bizarre story, whereby somebody has broken into somebody's house just to eat cereals. It's a crime, yeah, and he can even go to jail, or he will go to jail for this. Yeah. So that was our first bizarre story. Moving on to the second bizarre story. So today we have about 14 bizarre stories, so it's a lot. Yeah. So moving on to the second. Yeah. Remember, I normally write my business slow motion smuggling. That is the title, and then it says, after a 6-day wait, police in tracked the James Bond inspired piece was stolen from a jewelry store. I believe I read this story like earlier. Like this is not the first time we are coming across this story, because this guy, actually the first time I read this story, this guy was trying to like smuggle this Alex Brown, Brooklyn. You said hi. Hello to Alex. We hope you're doing great. We are fine actually here, and thank you for your greetings. We really appreciate that so much. So this guy here in New Zealand, this is not the first time we are coming across this story. The first time we came across it, this guy was trying to smuggle this pendant out of the store, and then he was caught. Now, after he was caught, the police spent 6. Is it? Alex, you're saying I'm cool, bro. Thank you so much, Alex. We appreciate. So this guy here has spent 6 days to wait for that pendant to come out of his body. Remember, he swallowed it. Yeah. So after swallowing, his intention was to swallow the pendant and then walk out of the store and go maybe take it out, like, I do not really know how he was planning to take it out, but in his own way. So, but unfortunately he was caught, and he stayed with the police for 6 good days to wait for the pendant to come out. And then now what next for him? Next for him is going to jail. He's going to jail for theft. Yeah. So that was in New Zealand. Maybe I'll repeat the story for you. New Zealand's slow motion smuggling. Now that it has been given a new title, slow motion smuggling. After a 6-day wait, police in New Zealand finally recovered a swallowed Faberge pendant from a suspect's gastrointestinal tract. The James Bond inspired piece was stolen from a jewelry store. So this piece here was inspired by the movie. There are movies of James Bond. I have seen a few James Bond. I think they're numbered, maybe 1, 2, and the rest. Yeah, growing up, they used to be actually fun. I do not really know if maybe you've watched some, but James Bond movies were amazing. Like, they were breathtaking. You could sit and then the movie comes, and these were the times when we actually never had maybe the DVDs and the CDs. I'm talking about us now here in the village back then. So we used to like there was a certain TV station that used to air them. So we used to like to especially on Fridays, maybe towards the weekend, we used to like wait for a movie. Yeah, a movie is like there is an advert. Can I call it an advert? Like maybe a program guide that tells you on a certain day we'll be airing or we'll be playing this movie. Like it begins from maybe Wednesday, Thursday. No, actually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for first. Enjoy your eyes. Yeah, we normally watch to enjoy our eyes and maybe to satisfy our minds somehow. So you are there waiting for the movie, and then on Fridays we never used to have electricity, so we used to charge at we had a solar panel, and then we had a battery, the dry cell, not dry cells, battery, the ones that cars normally use, car battery. So we had a solar and a car battery. So we used to like bring the solar out. Our solar was not actually connected on the roof, so we used to bring it out, like place it somewhere direct to the sun, and then wait for it to charge. Keegan Kabasa is saying 90. Okay, I do not really understand what you mean by 90. Okay, so we used to bring the solar out and then we charge the battery. So there used to be days on Fridays. Remember, you've been watching a program guide from Monday to Thursday. Maybe you watched last night on Thursday, and then there's no you do not have any more like energy on this. You'll watch your movie. So unfortunately, this Friday there is no sun. Yeah, important for it to charge at least faster, and maybe give it more time, like for you to at least watch enough. So Friday he's here, you have no energy in the battery, there was no sun. So maybe you put on the TV and then you watch for like almost 15 minutes. Maybe you wait for the exact time when this movie is beginning. Yeah, so if you know, maybe after news at 9 p.m, so news would run like for at least 30 minutes or maybe 45. Immediately you put it on, and then the movie used to run for like an hour plus. So immediately you put it on, it takes at most 15 or maybe 19 to 20 minutes, and then the battery dies. This is the time actually when you are beginning to connect with the movie, and then the battery dies. Wow, it used to be hard. Yeah, it used to be very hard. So we were actually talking about the James Bond inspired piece, which was to smuggle it out. Unfortunately, he was arrested, and the police had to sit with him for 6 days, 6 good days, to wait for it. 17 minutes, so it's 11:02 p.m. where I am here in Kenya, Africa. I believe nowadays maybe most people now know that where I'm streaming from. You know, in the beginning there was like where you streaming from. I believe now with time we're at least knowing, right? So the third bizarre story is the Formula E ghost bang. That is the title, and then it says driver Nick De Vries was forced to abandon his start at the Jeddah E-Prix following a bizarre bang from his car. While witnesses heard a loud explosion, investigators suspect a battery fuse issue rather than a physical impact. So this guy is a driver for Formula E. He was actually forced to abandon his start at the Jeddah E-Prix following a bizarre bang, like bang. I believe you understand what bang means. Yeah, from his voice that comes after maybe thunder strike. You can be very scared, like your skin. So imagine here, this guy was about to begin a race, and then there is a sound, bang. Yeah, very scary. Personally, if I was the driver, if I was this guy, Nick DeVries, I couldn't even get closer to that car, to that vehicle. Yeah, because life is really precious, and there's no way you can risk. Okay, mostly we do risk, but there is a risk that you can at least avoid, like stay away from. Yeah, for example, here this guy has had a very loud bang from his car, his racing car. So he chose not to go into that car because he never wanted to risk his life. That is why I'm saying there are risks worth taking and there are risks not worth taking. Yeah, like risks, for example, that might actually cost you. Maybe I might break even my finger or my arm or my leg, but it will not cost you your life. There are risks. And then the risks that that this is a car, I've had a very loud bang from it, and maybe it might be a technical issue, then you might be as well dead, God forbid. Yeah, so that was our second, actually not third, that was our second bizarre story, which is third. Yeah, I'm right, third, which was saying the Formula E ghost bang. Driver Nick DeVries was forced to abandon his start at the Jeddah Prix following a bizarre bang from his car. While witnesses heard a loud explosion, investigators suspect a battery fuse issue rather than a physical impact. That was our third bizarre story. Moving on to the fourth bizarre story, it says academic fraud arrest. Yeah, the title, and then it says the former mayor of Ito, Japan, had her home searched by police today following allegations of fabricating her education. She is accused of claiming to be a university graduate during her campaign when she had actually been expelled. You see, we have people who have bad manners. Now this is an example of one, because the position she's occupying is supposed to be somebody else's, because she does not have the qualification to put her in that place. Now she's taking someone else's space, and the person who's qualified is maybe jobless. This is why I'm calling this bad manners. He or she was employed in his or her 20s. Now the retirement age is around 55, maybe if it goes actually 50 to 55. So you've been working for all this time. Maybe you are employed like a normal teacher, and then you were with bad manners. These teachers, they extend like 5 years. Imagine you've hit 55, you're supposed to go home and give somebody else this opportunity to at least push himself or herself, but you've decided like, no, I feel like I'm energetic, I still have the energy in my body, so what I'll do is I'll push for another 5 years, forgetting that there is somebody who is maybe at home. Yeah, your position could have been taken by somebody, and the position that this person left to be filled by somebody, but you want to stay there longer. So this is what I call bad manners. Yeah, if your time has come, you are teaching, you've been teaching for the past maybe 20 or 30 years, and then your time has come to retire, kindly go home, give somebody else the opportunity to as well teach. I'm not only talking about teachers, I'm talking about generally a teacher, like the example of a teacher was just an example, a general example, but be it maybe you're a manager, be it you're a CEO, be it where you are and your time to retire has come, kindly step down, step away, and give somebody else the opportunity to at least also. You see, the thing is, you believe that you are the best in what you're doing. Yes, you can be, but there is somebody who is better than you. Like you'll always find someone who's always like better than you. You think you're the best, but there is somebody who can do your work better than you. So do not like assume you're the best, like you're the only one who's qualified to do that job. There are very many people who can do that job. And the former mayor of Ito, Japan, had her home searched by police today following allegations of fabricating her education. She is accused of claiming to be a university graduate during her campaign when she had actually been. That is the reason as to why they were searching her house to at least find proof, like, did she complete her education? If not, then she's in trouble. This is in Ito, Japan. Yeah. So if at all she is guilty, let the rule of law take its course. Right? So that was our bizarre story. Now, moving on to the next bizarre story. It says a high flight in North Carolina. That is the title, and then it says a motorist called emergency services after a bald eagle dropped a cat carcass through her windscreen while she was driving. The driver was unharmed, though the vehicle suffered significant damage from the falling. Yeah. Okay, this happened in North Carolina, I believe is in the US, whereby somebody was driving maybe to work or from work or to wherever she was headed to. And then now this is the part where we spoke about fear. And then something falls from the sky on the windscreen of the vehicle. Yeah, you know, the first thing that will come into your mind is like you'll want to look and see where it fell from, and you'll also want to confirm like what is this. It will really scare you. Yeah. So this person here, it reminded me of something like there is a person who was a driver, and then there is a guy who employed this driver, like, I'll employ you so that you can at least find something to at least fend for your family. So this guy here, this driver now, was involved in a road accident, and then he called the owner and told him, I've been involved in a road accident and I'm injured. So instead of the owner of the car asking the guy, how bad were you injured, what is the extent of your injuries, the thing the guy asks the driver is my car okay? Really? Is my car okay? Instead of asking her, like, how am I, before you ask about your car. Like, is your car more important than my life? You see, personally, I cannot work for such a person. Like, you're supposed to at least ask me if I was injured or how I'm doing before you ask about your car. You see, this is a person who's not actually, like, does not mind about what happens to you. As long as his properties or his car is safe, then all is good. So the story is actually not related to, but I was just giving an example which was actually out of topic. So this person here, it said a high flight in North Carolina, a motorist called emergency services after a bald eagle dropped a cat carcasses through her windscreen while she was driving. The driver was unarmed, though the vehicle suffered significant damage from the falling. So the vehicle was damaged, but the lady is fine. Yeah. So the vehicle can actually be repaired. Like we have spare parts in the shops. You can go buy, come repair the vehicle, but you cannot repair a person. So that is the reason as to I was saying, like, if maybe you give somebody your car and maybe he was involved, you know, that he or she has been involved in a road accident, do not go first to ask, like, how is my car? First ask the person, how are you? Did you maybe get any injuries? Like, be human. Yeah, that is all. So that was our 5th bizarre story. Moving on to the 6th bizarre story. A hole in one brawl. A hole in one brawl. It says a Florida couple, I believe this is in the US as well, a Florida couple was arrested after a pickleball match at a country club escalated into a massive physical altercation involving over 20 people. The brawl reportedly began after one player insulted another's wife. You see, normally there are people who normally take like sports. They not take it as a sport. You know, sports, it's a competition. In every competition, there is somebody who wins, and then there is somebody who becomes the second. I'm not saying the second is a loser, but we must have, like, there must be a winner in every sport. So there are people who normally take this like seriously more than sports itself. So you find that some people actually get very irritated. Like, maybe I'm a fan of Arsenal, for example, and then we have a Manchester United fan. So like, we've won, maybe Arsenal, okay, the latest was Manchester won against Arsenal. So we say Manchester has won, and then I am like, I confront, like, maybe on the process, like, I'm really irritated we lost, and then the Manchester United fan is very happy, and then maybe bring something that looks like maybe it irritated me. So I answer back, he answers back, and then there's that like throwing words at each other, and then it escalates. Maybe we begin holding each other's shirts, maybe we begin fighting fists. You see, such things. So there are fans who normally take it more than it's supposed to be taken. It's a sport. In a sport, we are supposed to like have fun, enjoy, like I believe you're getting me. It's a sport. Sport is supposed to be fun and maybe, yeah, letting loose, enjoying yourself and such things. So these people here, somebody took it far to insult someone's wife, and maybe it might happen that it was between men, and then this guy decided, like, I'll take it down to the lady. Yeah, maybe I'll insult his lady so that he can get more furious. The thing is, when you maybe we were trying maybe to, at least we were arguing, and then I find what we call like I insult you. When I insult you, you react to my insult to you. When you react, that means you've lost. If I insult you, then you overreact, or you react in a way that looks like you're irritated by my insult to you. Now you've lost. You see, I've managed to control you. Yeah. So if I insult you and then you react, I've controlled you and you've lost. But if I insult you, you do not react, you do nothing, I've lost. I'm the one who has lost, not you. Yeah. So the medicine for insult is not reacting. Yeah, we actually have men who insult their women, yeah, just to feel good maybe. And then we have also women who insult their men, maybe to push or test the boundaries. So if your woman insults you and then you react, you've lost. If she insults you, you do not react, she's lost. Yeah. So the medicine for maybe insult or maybe how do you call it? Especially insults. Yeah. The medicine for insult is not by not reacting. You do not react, and then you become the winner. So that was our sixth bizarre story, which was saying a hole in one brawl. A Florida couple was arrested after a pickleball match at a country club escalated into a massive physical altercation involving over 20 people. And imagine over 20 people fighting. Yeah, that is bad. The brawl reportedly began after one player insulted another's wife. So this was actually between players, and then the wife was not even maybe playing this match here, but this guy decided like I'll insult the wife. And insulting the wife, somebody say known as Odu Poimeshak. Hello friend, I hope you're doing great. Thank you for your hello. We appreciate it very much. So that was our sixth bizarre story. Moving on to the seventh bizarre story. Stolen weight loss drugs. Now this is very funny. Listen. In St. Albans, in the UK, which is in UK, United Kingdom, 3 men have been charged following a bizarre heist targeting weight loss medications. The specialized theft has drawn attention due to the high black market demand for such treatments. Wow. So you see, I'll take myself as an example. A few years ago, I was fat, very fat. Yeah, I was very big, very fat. So the medicine for weight loss I took was not actually the actual medication. What I did was I began skipping meals from I'd eat on Wednesday afternoon around maybe 3 p.m. or 6 p.m. I do not eat on Thursday, and then my next meal will be on Friday. So I used to go 48 hours without taking food, only water. And I managed to reduce my weight. Yeah, like I used to fast, let me put it that way. I used to fast from Wednesday till Friday. So I'd take my last meal on Wednesday and then my next meal will be on Friday. So that is how I managed to lose weight without taking any medication. But we have people who are saying that I'm fasting. Maybe you fast for a day, and then after you finish fasting, you go to taking the meals that will make you fat again. For example, sugary things anyway. Like when you are trying to lose weight, the first thing you have to do away with is sugar. And then there is wheat, sugar and wheat. You do not need actually medication, like you do not need to take any medicine for you to. You see, when you take medicine, it actually has like repercussions. They say every action has a reaction. So when you take medicine to reduce your weight, there are consequences of the medication you take. But when you do it like you fast to lose weight, there is no consequences actually there. Yeah, it's just you feeling the hunger, you want to eat but you're trying to at least withstand that hunger for a whole day. Remember, I used to eat on Wednesday evening. I jump like Thursday, I'm not taking anything. I'm not eating anything on Thursday, just drinking water. At times it used to be so intense, like I could hear my intestines like they were like eating each other. So when that time came, it normally used to happen a few minutes to the time I'm supposed to break my fast. So when that moment came, or when that time used to come, I could take a pinch of salt and then put it in warm water, dissolve it, drink it. So the hunger goes away. That is what I used to do. Like when it used to become so intense, I used to take a pinch of salt, put it in warm water, dissolve, then take. And then with time, I was from 78 kgs, and then I brought it down to 54. That is how I managed to lose weight without taking any medication. It might be like you have the money to buy the medicine, so it's like the medicine is actually not, the money is not the problem. You just buy the money, but after buying the medicine, remember, you are going to go back to your diet whereby you eat like non-stop. Maybe you see, there are people, and the time that I was doing the fast, I used to like take a 1 meal a day. Yeah, from morning to evening, like 1 meal a day. That, remember, 1 meal a day is from Friday. This is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 1 meal a day. So Wednesday I'd take my last meal, and then till Friday. So Thursday was, I never used to eat. Never. Yeah. So if you try that, maybe eat a meal a day without maybe fasting, like for 48 hours the way I used to, you can also reduce your weight. And also you avoid sugar and wheat. You can reduce weight. You do not need drugs at all. Yeah. There are consequences to these drugs. So that was our 6th bizarre story, which was saying, not 6th but 7th, stolen weight loss drugs. And then it said, in St. Albans, UK, 3 men have been charged following a bizarre heist targeting weight loss medications. The specialized theft has drawn attention due to the high black market demand for such treatments. So this was actually these drugs are really in demand. Like, people cannot lose weight by their own. That is sad, actually. Like, you cannot maybe stop eating. Like, you have to take breakfast, lunch, supper, and maybe in between maybe take something here in between. Like, you do not stop eating. The only time you are not eating is the time you are asleep. That is bad. Even your body at times it needs some time to at least what do we call it, to get rid of maybe the food that you took last night. For example, let me ask you, you see, the food that you ate maybe last night will still be in your system or in your body until the following day, noon, until noon the following day. So the food that you take in between, maybe like breakfast, is actually not important to your body. It's just the mentality. Like, you go to sleep thinking like, tomorrow I'll have A and B for breakfast. So your mind has already said, like, tomorrow I'm going to feel hungry. You see, my stomach will have nothing. But in real sense, yes, whatever you took last night is still in your system until noon the following excuse me, the following day. So you do not need like to eat all through, like from morning to evening. You do not need that. Yeah, it's not really important. Okay, so the weight loss medication is on demand. Yeah, but for me, my advice is you can do it, you can lose the weight without taking any medication. Yes, you can. It's possible. I believe so. I've tried it and it worked on me. And if you try it, then definitely it will work on you. I'm 100% sure. So that was our 7th bizarre story. Moving on to the 8th bizarre story. It says, Olympic fugitive caught. That is the title. And then it says, a man who had been a fugitive for 16 years was finally apprehended when he surfaced at the 2026 Winter Olympics in Italy. He was recognized by authorities while attempting to watch a hockey game. Imagine you've been avoiding the police for the past 16 years, 16 good years. That is a very long time, 16 years. Like, you did a crime, you committed a crime, and then you've gone missing, like completely out of the picture for the past 16 years. And then there is a hockey match that is being played, you resurface from nowhere. Like, maybe you thought after you had gone for such a long time, the police couldn't recognize you. It's possible the time that maybe you committed this crime, there are officers who have been maybe retired, but they've not forgotten, or maybe the ones that were working there, they've not forgotten how you used to look like, or maybe the information that you are a fugitive, you're wanted, is there. Yeah, like maybe there are police stations that when you walk in, you find there's a picture of a certain wanted man over there, maybe on the wall. So this guy's picture has been on that wall for the past 16 years. And when the officer recognized him, they immediately apprehended him. Yeah, 16 years might look like a very long time, but this picture remained there for the past 16 years. So these officers have really done a great job. Yeah, this happened in Italy. Yeah, so I'll repeat the story for the last time. Olympic fugitive caught, the title, and then it says, a man who had been a fugitive for 16 years was finally apprehended when he surfaced at the 2026 Winter Olympics in Italy. He was recognized by authorities while attempting to watch a hockey game. So his day finally came. Okay, moving on to the 9th bizarre story. South Africa deploys army. That is the title. And then it says, President Cyril Ramaphosa has announced deployment of South African National Defence Force to support police in a massive crackdown on organized crime and illegal mining. I do not really know what is happening in South Africa. Like, I do not have the whole information, the complete information. But according to this story here, their president, has deployed South African National Defence Force, to support police in massive crackdown on organized crime and illegal mining. So I believe normally what the presidents do, like they do it for the good of their citizens. Though at times there are presidents who take certain measures for their own benefits. I'm not talking about the South African president because I do not really have the whole information. Maybe if we could get somebody from South Africa to at least maybe write for us and tell us what's happening, we could really appreciate. But at times, presidents take such measures to maybe prevent their people from maybe certain things. That is what we believe, and maybe for South Africa, I'm not really sure. So I do not want to comment too much about it. Maybe when I get the full information, then I'll share with you here. But for now, I'll not talk too much about this. I'll just skip it and go to the next bizarre story. Though it's a bizarre story because the National Defense Force are being deployed to support the police in a massive crackdown on organized crime and illegal mining. That was the 9th. And moving on to the 10th, Duterte ICC case. That is number 10. Two sitting Philippine senators, Ronald, also known as Bato de la Rosa, and Christopher, also known as Bongo, have been identified as co-perpetrators in former President Rodrigo Duterte's crimes against humanity trial at the International Criminal Court. Yeah. So this former President Rodrigo Duterte committed crimes against humanity. And then there are sitting senators. One is Felipe and the other one is Christopher. They've been identified, like they helped the president to commit these crimes against humanity. Podi Kakoran, hello. How are you, my friend? I hope you are doing great, and I hope you'll go to bed early. Oh, today's on Saturday, so tomorrow is not school day. So I hope you'll stay with us as long as possible. So here in Philippines, I actually like their system. You know, there are countries whereby if our president had committed a crime while he was in office, there is immunity that will protect them. But there are such countries, that offer immunity. What do we call it? Immunity. They protect. Once you are president, you cannot be arrested. There are countries that with such laws or rules. But what Philippines is doing is great, because it does not matter who you are. They say that nobody is above the law. If you commit a crime, you're supposed to be like responsible for it, like maybe be arrested or go to jail or maybe pay. It does not matter who you are. Nobody is above the law. Yeah, but we have countries that offer or give immunity to people who've maybe served as president, and when maybe you've done a crime like the one that Rodrigo is facing against humanity, you just walk away like there's nothing will be done to you. We have so many presidents that have been involved in corruption, but I've never seen, I'm talking about my country now, I've never seen a president maybe taken to jail or maybe arrested or maybe ordered to pay for doing A or B or C. Yeah, I've never seen. Though there are countries that have arrested, like for example, Congo. The other day they said they were to arrest the former president for also crimes against humanity. I've never really like followed up to know if he was arrested or maybe where the former president is. I've never really followed up to know more. So the thing is, if you commit crime against humanity, you're supposed to, not just crime against humanity, even if it's about breaking the law, you're supposed to be arrested and face the law. Yeah, it does not matter who you are, just face the law. Nobody is above the law. So friend, that was our 10th bizarre story. Moving on to the 11th bizarre story, Canada mass shooting vigil, the title, and then it says communities are holding vigils following a major mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge, described as one of the country's worst recent tragedies. You know, this is a very unfortunate story because yeah, it involved like so many people losing their lives, and the families are not going to see them, like they're just gone. Maybe they woke up in the morning smiling, they took maybe tea with their families, and now, and when evening comes, these people are not going to come back home. Reason, they died, and they died through a bullet. Yeah, mass shooting. So it's a very unfortunate thing. Yeah, people losing their loved ones, not to maybe the diseases, maybe especially diseases. You see, when your loved one is sick, and maybe it takes them a long time. Yeah, the sickness like takes a long time. It's like they look like they're about to recover, and then they don't. Yeah, so it gets to a point whereby you just tell God, like, God, this person has really suffered a lot. Kindly let this person rest. Like, you see how painful like it is, the suffering. Yeah, no sleep, they don't eat. Yeah, like you force food into down their throat. It's really painful, and then you just tell God, like, God, please, yeah, this person has really suffered. Please heal him or her, or allow the person to rest if maybe there is no medication that can cure them. Yeah, but here is a scenario whereby somebody, let me call this person a madman, shows up from nowhere and then begins shooting aimlessly, killing people. Yeah, so this is very unfortunate. It's not like I'm saying this one is more easier or worse than the other, but now this one here is really, it's careless, like it's not natural. Okay, let's move. So that was Canada mass shooting vigil. Communities are holding vigils following a major mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge, described as one of the country's worst recent tragedies. So that was our 11th. Moving on to the 12th, Nancy Guthrie search. So this is actually the fourth, if not the third time we're talking about this story here. Nancy Guthrie search. Federal agents have increased the reward to $100,000 for information regarding her disappearance. Investigators are currently focusing on a grey Range Rover towed from a parking lot near her home. So Nancy is the mother to a journalist known as Savannah. So Nancy was actually kidnapped by somebody who wore a mask from... no, the person who was wearing a mask was actually seen disconnecting or maybe tampering with the CCTV and the home of Nancy. So Nancy has been missing. The other day, these kidnappers wanted a ransom of $6 million US. Yeah, they wanted 6 million US paid in Bitcoin. So the federal agents here now, they've put out a reward, like they initially put a certain amount. Now they've increased it to $100,000 for any information that will lead to them rescuing Nancy. Yeah, I've also been praying, like, let her be found, okay, so that she can unite with her family. Yeah, you remember yesterday we were talking about some desire stories, and then there was a kid, a teenager, who kidnapped himself and then shot himself on the leg to make it look convincing to the parents. So we were talking about that story, and then I said, like, once somebody has been kidnapped, what comes into the family's mind is, the first thing is, will we find him or her alive? So that is the first question they ask themselves. Like, even here in the village, a few people have gone missing, and then, like, very few have been found alive. Yeah, some have been found maybe by, I believe you've been watching my videos. Some have been, there's a river that we followed the other day, we followed it for about 7 hours. So there's a part that it got bigger, whereby it joined the bigger river. So some bodies have been actually retrieved from that river, yeah, in the past. And these people actually went missing. Like, somebody goes missing from his home, especially, actually most were men. Somebody goes missing, and then his body is found by that river. So that was the reason as to why I was saying that when somebody goes missing, the first question this family asks themselves is, will we find him or her alive? But I believe that this Nancy, she's fine, and soon I hope and pray that she'll be united with her family. Yeah, so that was our 12th bizarre story. Nancy Guthrie search. Federal agents have increased the reward to $100,000 for information regarding her disappearance. Investigators are currently focusing on a grey Range Rover towed from a parking lot near her home. So the investigators are focusing on that Range Rover, which they believe was involved in abducting her, yeah, or in her disappearance. So we pray and hope that she is fine and she'll reunite with her family. Moving on to the 13th. This is actually the second. No, they are 15 in number, so we have 2 more to go. The 13th bizarre story says ICE shooting probe, and then it says federal authorities are investigating an ICE agent who shot a Venezuelan man. Attorneys claim the shooting occurred while the suspect was retreating. So the suspect was not aggressive, had like no weapon on him, and then the ICE agent shot the guy. So you cannot say, like, I was trying to defend myself, that is why I shot him. The guy was actually retreating, like maybe even walking away, and then he was shot. Yeah, so this is very unfortunate, but it's being investigated. Maybe they will find what they are looking for. Yeah, so they're actually very sensitive topics that you let the authorities, maybe after the case has been decided, is when maybe we'll talk more about it. But for now, we just read it the way it is, like ICE shooting probe. Federal authorities are investigating an ICE agent who shot a Venezuelan man. Attorneys claim the shooting occurred while the suspect was retreating. So the lawyers are saying the guy was shot while he was walking away, or maybe moving away from the agent, but the agent shot the guy. For now, we'll wait for maybe more information, or maybe what the court decides, and then we'll talk more about this ICE shooting probe. This is in the US. So moving on to the 14th, the second last bizarre story. Backpack cops discovery Kenya. This story actually scared very many people. It's a very sad story, and it really for real, it scared a lot of people. Like, it shook us when we heard this. Like, backpack cops discovery Kenya. And then it says a 29-year-old man in Nairobi was arrested after police found his wife's mutilated remains inside the backpack he was carrying during a routine patrol. Yeah. So this is a man who maybe had a misunderstanding with the wife, maybe beat her up, or maybe took whatever he took and then cut her into pieces. After cutting her into pieces, he decided, like, I'll carry the pieces in my backpack. So I was actually asking myself, like, is this guy really okay mentally? Like, how can you do that to your wife? You see, a wife is somebody you love, somebody you brought to your home to stay with you, to cook for you, maybe to give birth to your kids, to your children, I mean. And then here you are, slicing her body into pieces and then carrying her on your back. Maybe where was he taking these pieces? Yeah. Backpack cops discovery Kenya. A 29-year-old man in Nairobi was arrested after police found his wife's mutilated remains inside the backpack he was carrying during a routine patrol. So you've actually cut your wife into pieces, and then you've carried her body on your backpack. As I said, a wife is somebody you respect. A wife is somebody you brought to take care of your family, like to create a family with. But here you are, you've killed her and then cut her body into pieces, and then you carrying her on your back, on your backpack. Yeah, this guy was actually arrested. I've not really followed up the case. But I hope the family will get the justice. So that was our second last, and then our last bizarre story. Forced filling murder, also in Kenya. An autopsy revealed that 2 victims killed in Kahawa West, Nairobi, were forcefully made to swallow raw maize and chili peppers before they died. A senior police officer and a farm owner are prime suspects. So we normally, like, from day to day, we normally talk about humanity, being human. So here are we human beings forcing a fellow human being to eat raw maize and pepper, chili peppers. And then these people died on the process. So we normally talk about humanity, like, where are we headed as human beings? Where is our humanity? Yeah. people killing people, people forcing people to kill themselves. These ones here, they forced them. Like, you force someone to eat raw maize with pepper chilies, and then in the process they die. So this is actually these people, this police officer and this farm owner, they murdered them. Like, what is the excuse there? There's no actually excuse. I can see somebody known as Stavilan. Hi Stavilan, I hope you're doing great. It's been a while, yeah, since the last time we said hello. So I'm happy to see you, Stavilan. How is, you told me, I believe you told me you come from India, right? So how is India? I believe you're doing great, right? So friend, we were talking about namaste. Namaste. I'm happy to hear that, Stavilan. So friend, we were talking about a situation or a scenario whereby people were forced to eat raw maize and chili peppers, and on the process these people, these men, 2 men died. It happened in Kenya here where I am, Nairobi, Kahawa West. Kahawa, was it West or Sukari? You see, we have 2 Kahawas. One is Kahawa West and the other is Kahawa Sukari. So this one here, yeah, was Kahawa West in Nairobi actually. Oh, Stavilan, you're asking what are you reading? Okay, Stavilan, I was actually about to conclude. That was my last story. So I was reading about the 2 men who died, and they died from, according to the autopsy report, these guys died from being forced to eat raw maize and chili peppers. Yeah, and the people who were forcing these 2 men, one was actually a police officer, and then the second was a farm owner. So on the process of forcing these 2 men to eat or swallow raw corn, raw maize, these 2 men died. Yeah, so the police officer and the farm owner are actually under arrest, and investigation is ongoing, and soon when it maybe when they are done with the investigations, they will be charged, yeah, for murder. Yeah, I believe I've answered you. So friend, it's around 11:57. Maybe I'll, or if you have a question, you can go ahead and ask. Yeah, and also you can support us by subscribing to our channel so that we can continue growing, right? We will appreciate that so much. So before we finish, I'll read your messages. So Alex Brooklyn, Alex, you said hello, said hi. Yeah, you greeted me. Thank you very much, Alex. And then we have somebody known as Kigen Kabasa. Kigen Kabasa, you said 90. I really don't understand what 90 means. Kigen Kabasa. And then we have Odupoi Meshak. You said hey. Hello to Odupoi. We have Paddy Kakoran. Paddy Kakoran is a friend of mine. I believe you come from the UK, Paddy. And then we have Stavilan. You said hi, namaste, you greeted us. And then you asked what I was reading, and I believe I answered. So friend, I want to, it's almost time. Yeah, it's almost getting to midnight here in Kenya, the East Africa. Yeah, so we normally do this on a daily basis. Like, we read bizarre stories. If maybe you are interested in such stories, this is the place to be. This is where you'll find us. And also remember, I normally shoot videos, like long videos, here in the village, Africa, Kenya. So maybe if you want to at least see Kenya on a lens, village, that is not the old Kenya, but the village Kenya, the interiormost part of Kenya, then excuse me, this is the best, the right place to be, the right place to ask questions. So thank you very much. See you on our next stream. My name is Mark 29. Bye bye.